the lane.
Serving America's great sports networks. You're watching Prime Network.
Earlier this week, in typical Texas fashion, they held a barbecue for the previous BPAA US Open winners and presented last year's winner, Tish Johnson, with the coveted champion's jacket. But who will get the jacket this year? In the qualifying, Dee Dee Davidson led the field by almost 300 pins. Will she win in a walk? 4 challengers say no. It's coming up next on Prime. The 1993 Bud Light LPBT Spring Tour stops for the final time of 1993 for the Bowling Proprietors Association of America's 1993 US Open. Welcome to Garland, Texas and Showplace Lanes. Hello everyone, I'm Leandra Riley and this is the 5th and final stop of the Spring Tour, and what an exciting tour it has been. And what a way to finish the Spring Tour with a major. We've already had the Queen's Tournament of 93 and now it's time for the US Open. And let me bring in our own Leila Wagner and talk about the outstanding bowler of this week. It would have to be #1 seed Dee Dee Davidson.
Well, Dee Dee Davidson didn't only knock down pins this week, Leandra, she crushed her opponents. She set an all-time tour record with 22 out of 24 wins. Dee Dee Davidson has one thing working for her. As the top seed, she has won 2 of her 3 titles from that position, but the top seeds in the U.S. Open have only won 2 out of the last 13 times.
Oh, that's an unusual jinx. Now, here's a lady who is no stranger to winning the U.S. Open. That's Dana Miller-Mackey. She has won it twice, but no one's ever won it 3 times. She might be the first.
Both men or women, there has not been one to win it 3 times. Dana Miller-Mackey is in a prime position to do so. If history can repeat itself, we might as well crown this lady right now. Both of her titles have come from that #2 position.
Sandra Jo Shirey is the first right-hander I'm mentioning. We've just talked about 2 lefties. Tell us about Sandra Jo.
Well, Sandra Jo made a telecast for U.S. Open 2 years ago. She qualified 3rd, but she lost to Anne-Marie Dugan, who went on to win that event. Sandra Jo bowled extremely well, so it appears that she does not succumb to the pressure of bowling for a major.
All right, those 3 ladies will have to wait, because coming up, it's Stacy Ryder against Anne-Marie Dugan. Anne-Marie Dugan's already won in 1993. Stacy Ryder, well, she's looking for her first title. Stay with us. Bowling coming up next on Prime. Dugan and Stacy Ryder. We are on lanes 43 and 44, and it is Stacy Ryder of La Habra, California, that will bowl first. She is our smallest bowler, only standing 5 feet 1 inch, and I think that's a stretch.
An interesting note about these 2 opponents, they are doubles partners in the national doubles. Stacy Ryder has 2 titles, both of which have come with Anne-Marie in the doubles event, and they're very close friends. Opening up, she throws the ball right, does not get it back. She struggled during the practice time, allowed the players. She really did not get a good ball reaction. I asked her where she played most of the week. She told me sometimes in and sometimes out.
And she picks it up. Her high game was 299, low game 151, so she has been all over the map this week. And now Anne-Marie Dugan of Edmond, Oklahoma steps up. 8 career titles. She won twice in 1993, but both were on the winter tour. She is yet to win on the spring tour.
Well, she's made the last 2 telecasts for the US Open. Winning in 91. Last year she tried to win again from that 5th seed, but she was stopped. She finished 3rd. She's trying to go all the way up the ladder again.
I like her socks. Look at those socks. You'll see it on the replay here. Whoa.
They match her collar. You can see the angle that Anne-Marie's playing. She's crossing an awful lot of boards. That ball going all the way out to the 2 board, but does not make it back. She has left quite a few of the 2-4-10 split conversions in the morning rounds, especially yesterday morning. Oh, got it. Beautiful.
Nice job, Anne-Marie.
She said
that was my first one. I read her lips.
This is just how you want to do it, hitting left of the 2-pin, sliding the 2-pin right into the 10-pin.
I hope your VCRs are running because that is textbook. That was beautiful. That's something you want to look at again and again.
Well, the back ends, about the last 10 feet of the lane, have really been hooking quite a bit, and it's going to take a while for the lane conditioner to carry down the lane and even it out. So we might see some very odd leads here in the first match.
There she is.
Now, that ball did not go out to the first or second board. So that was an errant shot, basically, in her opening frame. Stacy Ryder has been a touring player for 6 years, but she has not bowled here in the spring at all. She bowled the winter tour. She made the first 2 events. She made the top 24, and then she ran into a tendonitis problem. She said, I just was not competing well. I went home. I got a job. I'm working as a receptionist, and she's not competing. I don't know if she even plans to compete much in the fall.
Well, this might encourage her to carry on. Seems to be taking a long time to step back up. There she goes.
Switching balls to shoot at her 10-pin.
Uh-oh.
Not a good shot by Stacy Ryder. She completely pulled that ball. She gets a little bit nervous, and also from not competing on the tour, do not have that competitive edge. She basically pulls this ball inside her target. The ball does not go into a slide. Looked close, but it doesn't count in bowling.
So that sets her back 12 pins.
She has made 11 television career appearances. Takes Stacy a little time to get going, though, Leandra. If you recall last night in the position round, she was bowling for that third. Well, actually, they were locked in spots. First was locked in, second and third and fourth, but she was bowling against Sandra Jo Shirey. She opened in her first 2 frames, proceeded to throw 10 more strikes and shoot 278. So she's hoping that maybe she could do the same thing right here. If she were to go all the way the wall from this point in time, she could still shoot 247. So.
And she's certainly capable of doing that.
That's right. We saw her do
it last night, right?
Anne-Marie recently moving to Edmond, Oklahoma. So she really finds the people around this area extremely friendly. A lot of
and the pins, too.
Yes, a lot of good bowling. A lot of competition.
33 pin advantage for Anne-Marie Dugan.
Do you believe in soulmates?
I have never wanted anyone more.
You don't want to go falling in love with a guy like me.
No safety net. I got you.
Catch these movies and more before they disappear on the Zumo Her Free Movies channel.
$10,000.
I'm the one that's trying to hold this family together.
Catch these movies and more before they disappear on the Zumo Free Black Cinema channel.
What do you think?
Feel good.
He's covered his tracks.
It does take a special kind of person to do this job.
Catch these movies and more before they disappear on the Zumo Free Action Movies channel.
You've been selected.
You're crazy.
You have a sickness.
Catch these movies and more before they disappear on the Zumo Free Movies channel.
3-4 million at least. You know what we could do with that kind of money?
We're not going to rob the money train.
Why not?
Because we're cops.
Can't stop this thing even if we wanted to.
New this month and streaming free. Only on Zumo Play.
Bobby Rayburn was San Francisco's brightest star. But to one fan, he meant so much more.
I just stopped caring, man.
Now do you care?
New this month and streaming free. Only on Zumo Play.
Stacy Ryder, 33 pins behind, throws a turkey, yet still trails by 23 because Anne-Marie Dugan doubles, and they both spared in the seventh.
Uh-oh, that one looked dangerous. Sent that far, too far to the right, yes. You can really see the difference in the line she's playing. When the ball gets away from her, it's a little fast, opens up a little too much. The ball goes too far to the right. Here it's at the 1-2 board. It does not have time to make it back. It's the 1-2-8. Her pocket shots, I don't think the ball has gone any farther than around the 3 or 4 board for her break point. There, that ball's much better on line.
So the 33-pin edge that she once held has now dwindled to 20, as Stacy Ryder had 3 strikes and then a spare for 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now she's bowling in the 8th frame on the lane number 44.
Oh, Stacy Ryder is by far not out of this event right now. Shoot a possible 225, start it right here, and she trips the 4-pin.
Now that looked a little high to me.
Yes, it was a little high. But when you've got the pins working like this, it's a wonderful feeling. The ball's coming in extremely high, head pin off the wall, trips the 4 and the 7. And another look at how the pins were flying. That was the head pin taking out that 4.
That time it went high, and she left it.
That went on the left side of the head pin, leaving the 3-pin.
I guess that's a Brooklyn 9 instead of a Brooklyn strike.
She really needed that one there in the 9th frame to set herself up for the 10th. She's bowling at a 190 pace. Anne-Marie Dugan right now only needs to stay clean, basically marking in the 9th and 10th frame. And a familiar face out here on the women's tour, Bob Pike, Anne-Marie's father. He's traveled with her throughout the spring, as Pat Dugan has been at home, starting a career in real estate. And her husband Pat is here, has been throughout the week also. Strike right here will lock it up for Anne-Marie. You can see there, look at the scoreboard. Stacy Ryder, best possible game she could shoot would be 205. A spare and strike for Anne-Marie Dugan. She shoots 215.
Come on, Karen.
Oh, my. Solid 9. Anne-Marie must pick this up.
Needs this spare.
Must have this spare.
She's studying the scoreboard now. No, we saw Stacy Ryder miss an obvious spare, so it is possible she won't pick it off, but not likely. There's the spare.
Now she only needs one pin. Stay behind the line. And Stacy Ryder at one point, I believe it was her first television appearance. She was bowling Lori Nichols. She needed a spare. She only needed 1 or 2 pins, and she got up and threw it in the channel. Oh. And I'm not trying to jinx Anne-Marie. I was just telling a story on Stacy Ryder. It can happen. Lori Nichols went on to win the match.
That's not a challenge. Sure. The exact opposite. So Anne-Marie Dugan climbs the ladder. She's out of number 5. The worst she can do in this tournament is number 4. But she'd like to be number 3. She faces Sandra Jo Shirey in a minute.
Randy, what does it entail to host a U.S. Open?
Well, it takes a lot of effort on a lot of different people in the area. We've had some great sponsors. The City of Garland has put on a tremendous show and welcomed the ladies here. We'd also like to thank our neighbor Bowling and Billiards Supplies of Dallas for their support. They've been in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for 35 years, serving the area proprietors and bowling centers. And we also have had a lot of other sponsors that have helped us tremendously. Turbo 2-in-1 grips, Robbie's Bowling Products, Walmart Photo Finishing, Coca-Cola in sponsoring our Pro-Am, which is a great success, Chandler Signs, and Sam's Town in Las Vegas, and the Hammer Bowling Balls.
Well, I know it was a great effort. You did a great job. Thank you.
Our next match features Sandra Jo Shirey against Anne-Marie Dugan. Anne-Marie's on a roll. Can't you keep it going? Sandra Jo has something to say about that. We'll be back.
Postage, limit of 5 per household. So get cracking. Call now to order.
We are back in Garland, Texas. Anne-Marie Dugan has just defeated Stacy Ryder, so now she faces Sandra Jo Shirey. Anne-Marie will bowl first. She is number 5. Sandra Jo is number 3. This is our second match. And there you see how the lanes compare.
And lane 43 and lane 44 seem to be playing relatively even for Anne-Marie, or she's figured them both out at this point. And the ball coming up light. She leaves the 2-pin. Now, she did not swing that one way out to the right. We may see the conditioner start carrying down a little bit. She may not have hit that ball as well. We'll have to see how the condition changes throughout the matches. I know Sandra Jo Shirey wants a rematch, wants revenge against Anne-Marie Dugan. These two players met in '91 in the U.S. Open, but Anne-Marie Dugan came out the victor. She defeated Sandra Jo 247 to 235. It was a wonderful match.
And now we see Sandra Jo for the first time. She's from Coldwater, Michigan. There you saw her average so far this year. She has yet to win a title in her career, though she has 3.
And she is not on a good television match play streak right now. She has lost her last 4 television appearances, and it's not because she has bowled bad. It's just that her opponents had bowled extremely well. Jill Albrecht beat her not too long ago in New Orleans, a couple weeks to go to win her first event, 223 to 226. So that was another good game by Sandra Jo that
just wasn't good enough.
Just was not good enough.
Her last title came in 1991, the Athens Open. Her best finish here, 4th. That was in 1991. So she's already bettered that mark and opens things up the way she wanted to. 20 pins gone, thanks to Sandra Jo, as Anne-Marie steps up.
Who is this man?
The FBI is withholding the identity of the assassin who fled captivity last night in a daring escape.
America's Most Wanted. Streaming free all month long, only on Zumo Play.
Every relationship is a story.
You asked me out, and I said yes.
I've never felt so connected to anyone before.
Adam wanted me to give you this.
Charlotte,
Hi.
let's go on a trip.
Okay, where are we going?
You are my perfect right now.
This is about to get hot in here.
Celebrate Black creators, stories, and talent with a curated collection of movies, TV shows, and channels on Zumo Play. Laugh out loud with your favorite comedies. Get swept up in powerful stories.
I love your daughter.
Connect with unforgettable characters.
You know, this job can be hazardous to your health.
And honor visionary Black creators that shape generations. Black voices, Black stories. Now streaming free on Zumo Play.
You're crazy.
New this month and streaming free. Only on Zumo Play.
Really come into her own in the last 2 years. Last year, in the beginning of the year, she just started out beautifully, put a lot of pressure on herself towards the end of the year for those Player of the Year honors that I've learned by my mistakes. And hopefully this year will be a different turnaround. She's worked extremely hard on her mental game, on her physical approach to the game. She's a dedicated competitor.
It's the third consecutive year she's qualified for the US Open step-ladder finals. Both times, well, 3 times now, from the number 5 position.
And I know Anne-Marie always wants me to say hi to her 2 stepchildren. She doesn't look old enough to be a mom.
I thought that was going to come.
Ball coming up light again. We saw her pick up the 2-4-10 in the first frame of the first match. See if she can slide the 2-pin into the 10 again. So she's come up light both times now in lane 43. And it does not make the break. Lane is obviously, the conditioner's carrying down. She's going to need to move a little bit to the right. Try to create more of an angle into the pocket. Get the ball to react a little more in the back end. Sandra Jo already is working on 2 strikes.
Looks good.
Really frozen roping the shot. Basically a completely different type of a game than Anne-Marie Dugan. This is a low angle. Watch here. That ball just stays right on line, right between the second and third arrow. Not much belly, not much break, and just lands right in the pocket. Plus the velocity that Sandra Jo Shirey is throwing the ball at. It's bound to hold line if she gets it headed for the pocket. She leads by 32 pins.
For Sandra Jo Shirey, as you can see, she's got a 66-pin advantage, and she's continuing to strike. And while we were away, Anne-Marie Dugan found her mark. Here she is on lane 44. Finds the pocket. Now she switches over to 43 and says, I figured this one out too.
Definitely tightened up her line there. You can see she's between the first and second arrow. The ball is not going outside the first arrow as what was happening when she was having problems. Sandra Jo Shirey, 7 in a row.
So she's crossed the halfway point as we look at number 7.
And that ball came up a little high, but she tripped the 4-7. Very calm, cool, and collective at this point.
For someone who's flirting with the 300, yes. I'm on the edge of my seat, and she's acting like it's a day at the office.
Sandra Jo Shirey has had 1 career sanctioned at 300 game. Sure, she's feeling it right now.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Oh.
We have to give her credit. The ball went right, and she didn't pull it high through the nose.
Oh.
And White. She just caught the head pin. Came up light, head pin up against the wall. Didn't make it back to get the 7. 2 pin topples over the 5. Hits the 8.
And a little more spin.
There goes the 4. Still standing. Converts the spare, though. Maintains her lead. Anne-Marie Dugan right now is working on a double. Can shoot a possible 234. It appears she is now lined up, but Sandra Jo Shirey is leading by 65 pins.
That's a tough deficit at this stage of the game.
Oh, that one. Well, she tightened up the line. That ball hooked a little early on her.
Don't throw it that straight. I don't throw it that straight.
You can hear what she's saying. I can throw it straight, but I can't throw it that straight. The difference in these two players, Sandra Jo Shirey playing a very straight and direct line. She does not hook the ball very much. Anne-Marie Dugan trying to play a little bit more direct, not cross the boards to get to the pocket. It just didn't work. Right now.
The 8th frame is open, so she's at 140 in the 8th.
Well, right now, she can just shoot a possible 200. Sandra Jo Shirey already has that if she were to get 1 pin. And no, I take that back, because she has that spare up in the 8. She has 209. So this match is virtually over.
So after 7 strikes and a spare in the 8th, Sandra Jo steps up.
She can shoot a possible 279. What a great game for in quest for a U.S. Open title.
5th place is worth $4,000. That went to Stacy Ryder. 4th place will go to Anne-Marie Dugan. That's worth $5,000. And Sandra Jo Shirey, well, she moves along. The worst she can do, $7,000. The final score, Sandra Jo Shirey, after 7 strikes, defeats Anne-Marie Dugan, 259 to 179. The rest of the top qualifiers is being brought to you by the Hoinke Classic, an amateur bowling event for men and women, paying over $2 million each year for 10 consecutive years. For information on the Hoinke Classic, call 1-800-543-4010. Finishing number 6, Robin Romeo, 1989 U.S. Open champion.
And making a great charge last night, Diana Teeters, her 7th year on the tour.
Jeannie Nacarado, 1986 Lin Shu Player of the Year.
And Carol Giannotti sporting a new hairdo, 1992 runner-up for Player of the Year.
I like her hair. Carol Norman is next. She shot 300 this week.
And you saw her win her first title just 2 weeks ago in New Orleans.
This is Kim Couture. She won her first career pro title last week in Alexandria.
The tour title is Carolyn Dorn.
Number 14, Wendy Papanos McPherson, youngest player to win the U.S. Open in 1986.
And Linda Urbanek, a former touring player, now running her own pro shop in Houston.
Number 16 is Jackie Sellers, 5th year on tour with 1 career pro title.
And Lori Nichols in 17th. She won the U.S. Open in 1972 as an amateur.
Then it's Nancy Fair, the highest qualifying amateur.
And in 19th, another left-hander, Sue Neidig, who won her first title last year in Hemet, California.
Eleanor Korzak, a senior at West Texas State.
And Marianne DeRupo, our 1992 Rookie of the Year.
Kathy Edwards, she's a rookie this year, finishes number 22.
And Sandy Postma from Lansing, Illinois in 23rd.
In the number 24 position, it's Debbie Renone, an Ohio Bowling Hall of Famer.
And our alternate this week, Linda Kelly, who won her first pro title last year in Alexandria.
Okay, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we will have more bowling as Sandra Jo Shirey climbs the ladder to face Dana Miller-Mackey, a righty against a southpaw.
You're crazy.
New this month and streaming free, only on Zumo Play.
It's about to get hot in here.
Celebrate Black creators, stories, and talent with a curated collection of movies, TV shows, and channels on Zumo Play. Laugh out loud with your favorite comedies. Get swept up in powerful stories.
I love your daughter.
Connect with unforgettable characters.
You know, this job can be hazardous to your health.
And honor visionary Black creators that shape generations. Black voices, Black stories. Now streaming free on Zumo Play.
Who is this man?
The FBI is withholding the identity of the assassin who fled captivity last night in a daring escape.
America's Most Wanted. Streaming free all month long, only on Zumo Play.
Every relationship is a story.
You asked me out, and I said yes.
I've never felt so connected to anyone before.
Adam wanted me to give you this.
Charlotte,
Hi.
let's go on a trip.
Okay, where are we going?
You are my perfect right now.
This is Dana Miller-Mackey here at the Showplace Lanes in Garland, Texas. I'm Leandra Riley along with Leila Wagner, and this is the fifth and final stop of the 93 Spring Tour. This is a major tournament. The Queens was already held earlier this year, Jan Schmidt winning that. This is the second leg of the Triple Crown, the US Open. And Dana Miller-Mackey has won this event before. In fact, she's won it twice before, and if she wins this day, she'll be the first person to ever do so.
Good pocket hit. Coming up a little soft. Leaves a 7-pin. Both of these players using a 3-finger grip, using their index finger in the ball as well as their middle 2 fingers. Sandra Jo Shirey did this when she was very young, I think around the age of 12. Dana Miller-Mackey has just been doing it for a couple years now. She had lost the strength in her wrist and decided maybe she could get a better feel with the ball.
Have you ever tried that?
I have not tried it. It might help. I'm a small bone person, and trying maybe it would enable me to get a little more strength in my wrist.
I would think it would give you a little more control, especially on something like the spare ball, just because you have more fingers in there.
And lane breakdown there. Sandra Jo Shirey basically has both lanes figured out. Usually you do when you shoot 259 and open up with the first 7 strikes. Difference in averages on these pairs. Sandra Jo Shirey averaged 246. Dana Miller-Mackey only averaged 191. So it fared to the right-handers a little bit better throughout the week than it did for the left-handers. I'll have to see if that makes a difference today. And again, a look at that 3-finger grip. I don't know, as far as putting that extra finger, give you more control towards your spares. We're constantly talking about throwing the ball straighter at your spares. A lot of people actually take a finger out when they bowl at their spares because they don't want the ball to hook as much.
Mm-hmm.
But adding that extra index finger does not allow the ball to hook more. I think it just gives it a little bit more support. As you can tell by Sandra Jo's style of bowling, she is not a big hooker on the tour. She gets a nice roll. Perfect, right between the second and third arrow.
Well, we saw a lot of that in the last match. Dana Miller-Mackey, Fort Worth, Texas. This year she's already had 1 title. In her career, she's had 11.
She's currently ranking 7th in earnings and 4th in average. Oh. Well, she made up. She had the The soft shot there on lane 43, that one coming up a little high on 44. She made the adjustment and tripped out the 6-pin. See there, I mentioned the average on the TV pair for Dana Miller-Mackey, 191. Dana's been on tour for 13 years. She's 36 years old. Started bowling at a very late age. She was 21 years old versus many players who start at the young age of 6, 7, 10, or 11, somewhere in those numbers. Dana Miller-Mackey comes from a big bowling family also.
Her brother's on tour on the PBA.
Her father's a member of the senior tour, and her mother used to be a member of the ladies tour. So it's very unusual for her to have started so late. I think she was busy in other sports.
It's funny, she really burned the place up in her first match, but a little different than how she was playing this week. Now she seems to have found her groove again in this, her second match.
And she now has 2 in a row, but she's...
That evens the score.
Evens the score up.
Both ladies with spare, strike, strike.
A member of the Coldwater Hall of Fame. She was inducted in 1988. No, Sandra Jo also did a lot of amateur competitions. In 87, she was an FIQ gold medalist in the team event and also in all events, which is an extremely hard thing to do, and a wonderful accomplishment for her to win that all events.
What went wrong here?
Oh, the ball coming up light. She said timing. She got fast, was not able to keep the ball on line. The ball got away from her. She sent it right. She does not hook the ball, so it did not come back. She does not have a sleeper. She has the 2-4-5. She'll go very direct at it. Switching balls to shooter spare.
There's Steve Mackey, Dana Miller-Mackey's husband.
And Dana now from Fort Worth, Texas, and Steve relocating, works for AMF, and is now here in Fort Worth, Texas from Australia. The two met when Dana was part of a Coca-Cola Challenge Cup team that went over. There were 5 or 6 ladies that went over to Australia to compete against the Australians. And she met Steve, and I guess it was love at first sight, right?
I think it was love at first strike, I think is how it goes.
And you can see here, look at her reaction, her intensity. She was talking to it. Come on, kick out the 7. But as much body English as she used, 7-pin did not fall. Now she is trying to convert it. She switches balls also to shooter spares.
Dana Miller-Mackey is 1/4 Oswego Indian. And in the programs, they took a picture of her in some native costume, and it was a very striking pose that her mother provided the attire that she wore. And it was quite striking.
Oh yes, it's a beautiful picture.
Here's the score. Very, very close. Certainly nothing's resolved yet as she moves over to 43.
And you mentioned she is also a member of the Indian Sports Hall of Fame, in which she was inducted in that 1982. So very proud of her Indian heritage. And another 7-pin. Dana Miller-Mackey's high game this week, 258, low game 162. So her spread was not quite as high as Sandra Jo Shire's high game this week was also 258, but her low game was 136.
That's 3 7s for Dana. I know that's good in craps, but not in bowling.
She's left them in different capacities. One, the ball not breaking up high enough. One, the ball a little flat.
The result's the same. Spare, spare, spare. Now Sandra Jo steps up. Still 1 pin is the difference between the two. This is the 5th frame for Sandra Jo. She has a spare, 2 strikes, and a spare.
Oh, really got away with that. She came up extremely high, could have been disastrous, but she only left the 10 pin.
Okay, now how does this happen? We watched her in the last game. 7 strikes in a row. She seems to have these lanes licked. And then she's searching in this game. Why?
Well, that's bowling. You're getting closer to a championship, too. I can't see the lanes changing too much from where Sandra Jo is playing. It's a little bit, but she's already thrown 2 strikes. She's just not making good, clean, crisp shots. But she came out very determined that first game. She was firing the ball. The feel is a little different. It's very warm down there for the players. She's removing a piece of tape from her thumb hole. This all makes a big difference in how you release the ball. If she's not getting a good, clean release, she's not going to make a good, clean shot.
So we see her making an adjustment with the tape. Earlier we saw Alita Sill give us a tip on using tape. Pros have it in and out all the time. Found the groove there after 2 spares. She nails the strike. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we will continue with Sandra Jo Shirey and Dana Miller-Mackey. Clears the deck with this shot on 44 and then crosses over and does the exact same thing coming in from the outside on 43. Now we're back to action with Sandra Jo Shirey, who picks up the spare. And now it's a 12-pin difference between Sandra Jo and Dana Miller-Mackey.
Sandra Jo really wanted this one, too. She would have still been only trailing by 2 pins. She hit the pocket solid. She left a 4-pin. This could be the turning point in the match right here. This falls, like I said, she trails by 2. Doesn't go. Now she trails by 12.
We already saw her pick up the spare, and now she's crossed over to lane 43. This is her shot for the 8th frame.
You can just look back and see how that is blanketed by 2 strikes.
Yes.
And you just go, oh, why couldn't that fall? Dana Miller-Mackey, on the other hand, did get the 7 pins out 2 times in a row. Caught the double in the 6th and 7th. Trying now to maintain her 12-pin lead, increase it by 22 with a strike right here. Dana has 3 sanctioned 300 games to her career.
See? Yes.
And she does.
It's the turkey, so Dana Miller-Mackey really turning up the heat on Sandra Jo Shirey, a match that has stayed so close. We're now starting to see some daylight break between them.
And the other two look just like this. She's talking to it. Break, break.
Yes, she's happy. There you can see the scoreboard. They were so close in the early goings, just 2 pins separating them, and then that spare for Sandra Jo in the 7th started to make the difference.
These two players have never met in a television match before.
Wouldn't go.
Looking for the light wall shot, but does not get the 10 out. This is Dana Miller-Mackey's 39th television appearance as Sandra Jo's 16th. I have to remember, Sandra Jo's only been on tour for 5 years, whereas Dana Miller-Mackey's been on for 13.
21 pin advantage for Dana. She faces a lefty if she wins. Dee Davidson is waiting in the wings as the #1 seed.
Well, that's fair right there. We tightened everything right up because Sandra Jo Shirey right now is striking the 9th, 3 strikes in the 10th. She could shoot a possible 236. Dana Miller-Mackey could then step up, throw 3 strikes for 237.
This one's far from over.
A great semifinal match for the US Open title.
Of course, Dana Miller-Mackey is hoping to become the first person to win a 3rd title. And Sandra Jo is really putting the pressure on, not giving up anything.
And look at the score.
There it is.
3 strikes right now. Basically, the match, she trails by 11. Whatever she does in the 10th, she's going to force Dana Miller-Mackey to do. And this is how it should be for a major title. Dana does not look at her opponent.
3rd place is worth $7,000. 2nd place, $9,000. 1st place, $18,000.
Oh, boy. And then Sandra Jo coming back saying, good shot, good shot. It did not look that bad. Many times the 8-10, you think the ball just hit flat. The 5-pin normally takes out the 8. In this case, it did not. It flew in front of the 8. You're going to see another look at it. Watch that 5-pin just flew right in front of the 8. And there sends the 10. What a bad break for Sandra Jo Shirey to open up and leave an 8-10. She takes one of the pins. She shoots 202. Right now, Dana Miller-Mackey only needs 5 pins. Much better game that Sandra Jo bowled than what her score reflected.
She re-racked.
And she re-racked. We make sure all pins are on spot. She needs 5 pins. That 4-pin in the 7th for Sandra Jo, the 8-10 in the 10th made all the difference.
Whoa. But that's all she needed. It was not the resounding way I'm sure she wanted to go out, but it was certainly enough. Dana Miller-Mackey defeats Sandra Jo Shirey. This U.S. Open recap is brought to you by Faball Enterprises, maker of hammer bowling balls and the finest of bowling apparel, bags, and accessories. Visit your local pro shop for the complete line of hammer products. In the first match, Anne-Marie Dugan over Stacy Ryder, 215 to 192. Then Sandra Jo Shirey, 7 strikes in a row to handle Anne-Marie Dugan, 259 to 179. And then in the 3rd match, it was neck and neck. Let's go right to the 10th frame.
Sandra Jo Shirey winning all 3 strikes in the 10th to force Dana Miller-Mackey to throw 3 to beat her. Sandra Jo gets up. This is the first shot in the 10th frame. She really rotated this ball nice. Watch the 5-pin. Rips right in front of the 8-pin. What a bad break for Sandra Jo.
And that resulted in Sandra Jo Shirey losing. Final score, Dana Miller-Mackey 214, Sandra Jo 202. Now let's go down to Leila Wagner, who's with a special guest.
I'm here with John Laspina, the president of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America. John, what is the role for the BPAA in the industry today, and also their role in the Women's U.S. Open?
Well, first of all, we're the National Trade Association for bowling proprietors, people who own and operate bowling centers across America. Our role is to enhance opportunities for business people in the bowling setting. We have 3,200 members across the country, state and local affiliates all through the country, and we want America to bowl. Simple as that.
And their role in women's bowling?
Oh, and our role here today, we're the sponsor, the national sponsor of the BPAA US Open. We're glad to be here. Half of our customers are women. They're wonderful, and this is a true competitive event with the best of the best.
All right. Thank you, John.
And speaking of wonderful women, we've got a wonderful match ahead of you between Dee Dee Davidson and Dana Miller-Mackey, number 1 against number 2 for the U.S. Open title. Welcome back to Garland, Texas for our 4th and final match. $18,000 on the line. Dee Dee Davidson of San Jose, California against Dana Miller-Mackey of Fort Worth, Texas. And Dee Dee Davidson will be up first, searching for her first title of '93. Her 4th title of her career.
Dee Dee Davidson is on a championship match streak of losing 2. Oh, and not a good way to open up. The ball hooking up extremely sharp, goes through the nose of the pin. She'd like to erase those past 2 losses, which came in October and March of '92. She has never met Dana Miller-Mackey for a title.
Oh.
And not something you want to do in the opening frame, missing a spare. She chopped the 2-8 right off. Great opening here for Dana Miller-Mackey, a little confidence booster.
Now, she lost to Dee Dee Davidson 227 to 216 earlier in match play. They bowled softly, sets them down.
Actually, they bowled twice in match play. They bowled the one time in match play, then again in a position round, and both times
she lost. Yeah.
She lost, right.
247, 210 in the position round.
Dana Miller-Mackey opening up with a strike. Again, like I mentioned in the opening, you might as well give her the title as from the number 2 seed here. History repeats itself.
It'd be history in the making because she'd be the first one to win 3.
Not only does she have the 2 U.S. Open titles from the number 2 seed, she has 2 other titles. The Lady Fairlanes Open in 1991, plus the Torrance Survival format that the ladies had in 1991 in Torrance, California. They always talk about the number 2 seed being the best position because you get 1 game under your belt, then you're going in against the championship, or into the championship match, versus the top seed having to come in after sitting on the sidelines for so long. Now, she does get practice balls, but she's only allowed 6 on the championship pair. Dee Dee taking a re-rack on lane 44. Now, Dana took a re-rack on lane 44
earlier, right?
Last game in the 10th frame. Apparently, they are not seeing the pins to be on spot.
That was something you may have suspected went wrong with Sandra Jo Shire's shot in the 10th frame. You felt she had enough rotation, but maybe the pins weren't quite on spot.
It's possible. That 5 pin just blew right in front of the 8. Normally, if you hit flat and you didn't rotate it enough, the 5 pin just falls down. So Dee Dee's going to start talking to herself anytime now after she came up high now 2 times in a row. 4, 6, 10. She'll just go for 2 pins. We saw Stacy Ryder get something going after she opened up with the first 3 frames. She turned that into a very close match.
Second time we've seen her leave an open frame. Now let's take a look at some of the names you might be watching for as we look at the rest of the finishers here at the US Open.
And we saw a look at the 60 top cashers. The total field this week, 196 ladies competed in the U.S. Open.
A small crowd.
A small crowd. 60 people competed, or 60 people cashed. Got a check. And a beautiful bowling center it was. Showplace Lanes in Garland. I'm very fond of this bowling center. Shot 300 here a couple years ago when the
sentimental favorite
came here. I was sorry I was not able to compete in the U.S. Open this year, but had some family commitments. Right now, Dana Miller-Mackey stepping up on 44. She struck in her opening frame. She then turned around on lane 43. Came up high, left the 610. Trying to put something together, trying to become the only person, man or woman, to ever win a U.S. Open 3 times.
And a 23 pin edge and opens it up on 44.
Oh, getting a big break there too as she tripped out the 7 pin at the last minute. Almost left herself with a 6-7 split. Pretty routine a spare conversion here. She'll cross lane and shoot the 6 pin. This is a big match. You know, we can see whether the lanes are actually changing or the fact that this is for a major. This is for $18,000.
You know, we mentioned that Dana would be the only person to win 3. There's only been 4 women to win twice. Paula Carter did it in 71 and 75. Pat Costello won the U.S. Open in 74 and 80. Donna Adamick, 78 and 81. And then Dana Miller-Mackey in 1983 and 1990. And what's at stake besides the prestige and the honor of a major? Big bucks. $18,000 for first, $9,000 for second. That's a big difference.
And the beautiful trophy. Catching the light hit, mixing the pin. Dana is not suffering from an ailment to her right leg, as we're going to get another look at this shot. Watch the head pin go up against the wall. She carries the mixer. She wears this brace on her right leg now for preventative measures. She says at one time it was hurting. I put on, and now I just don't want it to start hurting, especially again with a long format. The aches and pains start to show up this week if they've not shown up before.
Dee Davidson had an open frame in the first, the second, a spare in the third, and it appears she has found the groove. She strikes in the fourth on lane 44.
And she has been coming up a little too high. She made the adjustment, the head pin up against the wall, another mixer, as we saw Dana Miller-Mackey do. She's saying, hook, hook, come on. Yes. Really wanting a double here as she can cut Dana Miller-Mackey's lead to only 11 or 12.
Left the 2, 4, 7, and 8 in the first frame. Left the 4, 6, and 10 in the second. Picked up the 10th in the third. Nine years on tour.
One major. The 1991 WIBC Queens event in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where she defeated Jeannie Maiden.
Oh, again!
Big break as she trips the 6 pin at the last minute.
Whoa, what a delayed reaction that was.
Watch the head pin up against the wall. Actually, it was the 10 pin that hit the 6.
Spun around, yeah.
6 pin wobbles and wobbles and can't decide if it's going over. The leaning tower.
Yes, she's happy. So it's 2 strikes for Dee Davidson. Dana Miller-Mackey is working on a strike from the fourth.
Leading by 12. This lady wants a strike here to increase it by 22.
It's spinning, but will not touch.
It almost appears that the velocity that Dana is throwing has softened up a little bit. The intensity is not quite there as it was last game. You get a little bit tentative now. You're in the championship match.
That, or do you think she let her guard down when Dee left 2 open frames to open things up? Do you think that might...
Well, the intensity of the whole match could have dropped a little bit. The adrenaline, that you start pumping yourself up. Sometimes the adrenaline definitely works in your favor.
Strike, 2 spares, strike, 1 spare.
A 3-time WIBC All-American, a 3-time Bowler's Journal All-American. Another player like Anne-Marie Dugan has really felt that her game is, that she is at her prime right now is Dana Miller-Mackey. Worked extremely hard, both mental and physical game.
Oh!
Another light hit.
And a friendly fall.
Trips out the 6 and the 9. Mixes them up, turns back, is getting a little consultation there from most likely Dad. He's her coach when he's out on tour. There's many times that she has to do it alone when her dad's not here, but it's always nice. And there's Dad Gary.
The man in the
Miller.
tie is Pat Burns, coordinator of sports marketing for Anheuser-Busch, and right behind him,
in the blue shirt.
Come on!
Oh, well, running him out. She's not quite understanding her ball reaction now. She came up high a couple times. I think she really thought that one was going to make it back. But now we talked about velocity. Dana Miller-Mackey seeming that she's thrown a little slow. Dee could have really just zipped that one.
Yeah.
The 5, 3, 5, 6. When I reverse the pins, looking at them from a left-hander aspect, and sometimes I get confused.
It's still not a walk-away for Dana Miller-Mackey. We have a lot of frames left and only 15 pins the difference, so anything could really happen as we reach the halfway point. Strike, strike, spare, the last 3 shots for Dee Davidson.
You can just feel the intensity in the crowd.
Mm-hmm. Starting to get a little tight now.
Players work all year to compete well in the US Open. Nice pocket shot. 4-pin just lays in the channel. Dee Dee was real sorry that her mom and dad could not make it in from California to be able to see her on the telecast. They're here so often. So many times she's made the telecast, they've been able to come and watch her bowl, but they were not able to this year. She also wanted to say hi to Grandma and Grandpa. Sorry they couldn't be here. They're my biggest fans. She says spares are nice, but we need strikes. And yes, right now she needs strikes because she's trailing this lady that is about to set up by 16 pins. And we had one of the signs fall off the ball return, but it has now been removed.
So Dana Miller-Mackey of Fort Worth, Texas, 13th year on the tour, looking for her 3rd U.S. Open title, a history precedent event.
You hear the crowd yell "Carrie" as she comes up light again. I've seen a little bit of a trend here. They've gone from high, light, high, light. Neither player is really locked into the pocket. Even their pocket shots, or the strikes they have had, have been the light wall shots.
Mm-hmm. And here we are already in the 7th frame and still searching.
How time flies. Well, both of these players, as I mentioned, were on a losing streak, as Dana Miller-Mackey has lost her last 3 championship match appearances for the title. Dee Dee Davidson has lost her last 2. So maybe it's whoever wants this one can get up and take it. Right now, another look at the scoreboard. Dana Miller-Mackey leading by 16. Not too many
strike in the 6th, yeah, and one back in the 4th, but it's been slim pickings for both.
Another player who's averaged very well, actually, on this television pair, Dee Dee Davidson averaged 236 versus Dana Miller-Mackey averaging 191. But she turned things around there by that shot. Perfect pocket hit.
At Bob Evans, we're so committed to making delicious, buttery, real mashed potatoes, we've started speaking in mmm. Mmm. That means you better believe it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Real milk and fresh potatoes for a mash made in dinner heaven. Mm-mm-mm. That one speaks for itself. When you need comfort, bring out the Bob. Dee Dee Davidson has only qualified in one other U.S. Open.
And that was in the 1990 US Open in Dearborn Heights, Michigan. She was in the 5th position. She lost her first match to Alita Sill, 191 to 180.
6 times she's finished in the money. 6 times in the top 24.
Her highest 1993 finish came at the New Generations Classic in Yuba City, California, which was 8th. So she's really not had a wonderful year. She's been in 10 tournaments this year. She has only made 6 of the top 24. So she's been hitting and missing all year. But if you're going to put it all together, you want to do it right
now.
here in the U.S. Open.
Right now.
And right now, because she is trailing still by 16. She needs to strike here in the 9th. She'll cut it to 6 and set herself up for the 10th. You always talk about that 9th frame being your setup frame. Well, that's what it comes down to for Dee Davidson right now.
Yes, she's happy.
Watch the ball hit the pins here, carrying that light shot again. Just splashes the pins all along the deck. And Dee Davidson, yes, she knows that that was the key shot right there of the match for her to have any chance of winning this title.
Now for the second time in this match, we've seen her put 2 strikes together. Let's see how Dana Miller-Mackey responds.
Well, it's actually all in Dana's hands. She could get up, close out the match, take the title, shoot 229. She's holding it all in her own hand.
Strike in the 8th. Let's see what she does here. Ooh.
You see, she could have stepped up the 9th and 10th frame and just taken everything away. But not yet. Needs to spare here.
I'd like to see a blood pressure cuff on both these ladies right about now. Boom, 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 boom.
Well, she cannot shut out Dee Davidson at this point now. She can only shoot 209. Dee Davidson can shoot a possible 213. So Dee Davidson has definitely bounced back after not ever having the lead in this match. She has trailed since the very first frame. All right, 10th frame. Dana Miller-Mackey strikes out for 209. Forces Dee Davidson to get 2 strikes in the 10th. And 6 pins.
Let's see if she can strike out. And no one in this match has really put anything together. We've seen a 2-strike string, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm. And pin count also. Now, Dana, the ball coming up extremely light. She leaves 4 pins on the right side. Really needs to convert this spare right here, or she's basically going to hand this title over to Dee. Needs them all.
Got them.
Pin count, very critical. A strike here, she shoots 195. Dee Davidson is going to have to get the first strike in the 10th frame. If Dana can throw a 9 or better right now.
Oh, 9. It's 194 for Dana Miller-Mackey.
Okay, it comes down to this. We've seen 3 matches. This is for the US Open crown. She's used her 2. She's consulting with Tom Schmick.
And they're looking at it.
He allows the re-rack. She's taking it. She must strike.
And she's coming off of 2 strikes.
And she has 1 major title. The 1991 WIBC Queens. This would be the second leg of that Triple Crown.
What a comeback this would be if Didi can pull this off. 2 open frames to start this match. A collection of strikes and spares throughout.
This comes down to a $9,000 ball right here.
Isn't that the truth? Must have it. Gotta have it, gotta have it. And gets it! A delayed drop by the 10. And the much-needed strike. Whoa.
I like the reaction by Didi. Watch this. She really revs it up. Hits the head pin. Beautiful shot. 5-pin just swishes into the 10. Knocks it
Snapped over
She's
there.
talking to it. Come on, come on.
Come on, come on, come on.
And it's a double jump.
Yes.
Well, she had to have that. Now it's up to pin count. She only needs 1 pin.
That's hard to do. And strikes it.
And after leading this field by almost 300 pins, the top seed, were they jinxed? I guess not. And Didi Davidson becomes the 3rd top seed in the 13 years to win the US Open.
Kissing the ball.
I'd be kissing the ball, too.
Hey, gets it. Congratulations, Didi Davidson. The 2 lefties battle it. Davidson prevails, winning the 1993 US Open. We'll be back with a recap. 213, 194, the final. A happy lady, and well she should be. There you see the final number. She put up the strikes when she needed them most, striking out to defeat Dana Miller-Mackey. 213, 194, Didi Davidson, our champion. And now she's got a lot of things to collect, and we begin first with Eric Nelson, who has the coveted jacket. And he is the owner and proprietor here, and he's going to put that on Didi Davidson. And this is the traditional symbol of the winner of the US Open. And the green jacket fits quite nicely. Next, we are going to move in Bill Blue. He is the CEO of the BPAA, and he has the trophy for Didi Davidson. A beautiful eagle. And now I'll step in here, and here are the words you want to hear so well.
Didi, you could take us all bowling tonight. On behalf of the 3,200 members of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, a little token for your victory. $18,000. Good luck, Didi.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have a few words I'd like to say, if I may. The crowd here this week, it was just incredible. I feel like I'm at home bowling a regional, and y'all made me feel very relaxed, and BPAA ran it smoothly, and I couldn't ask for a better place to do it than Show Place Lanes. Thank you.
All right, but we're not finished with our presentations. Not finished. We've got more for you, Didi. And I have Bob Calabro, a district manager for Anheuser-Busch, and he has the Bud Light trophy for you.
Yes. Didi, congratulations on behalf of Anheuser-Busch and the Bud Light brand, proud sponsors of the Lady Pro Bowlers Tour. We present you with this trophy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very nice. Oh, God, I hope I don't drop this one.
All right, her hands are full. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have some thoughts from our Didi Davidson, winner of 1993's U.S. Open. Stay with us.
Postage. Call now to order. To keep your jewelry and precious metalware tarnish-free and sparkling, order Quicksilver now.
Didi Davidson winning her second major of her career. Leila?
Obviously, you knew it was coming down to 1 shot.
Yeah, I did. I just kind of tried to focus on him as I was bowling match play, and I was nervous as heck. I really was, and I'm just glad I got it off my hand. And all the girls bowled great this week. Really, I was just.
A great job, Didi. Congratulations to you, and have fun spending that big paycheck. Our 1993 U.S. Open winner, Didi Davidson. For Leila Wagner, I'm Leandra Riley. So long, everyone, from Garland, Texas.
One of the coolest bowling apps is getting a brand new update that you're going to be able to see early. Lane Tracks, which is an AI-powered tool that helps track your rev rate, your ball speed, your impact angle, and so many more stats, just like Kegel Specto does, is getting a really big update where it's actually going to be able to record you throwing your shots. So you can see your shot, and then you can see on the lane what it actually does. It's an absolutely awesome update that these guys are having. Well, let me back up a little bit. Lane Tracks, which is an app that got released 1 to 2 months ago, is an app that is trying to act like Kegel Specto. What it is doing is it is watching your ball go down the lane, and then it's able to check what all of its stats are and what all of your stats are. One of the most important things as a bowler is knowing your rev rate, knowing your speed, and being able to know if what you're looking at and what you're trying to hit when you're throwing a shot is actually what you're hitting. Lane Tracks does a fantastic job of being able to track that all for you. Now, why this matters is like someone like me, for example, I'm left eye dominant and I'm a right-handed bowler. This can cause a problem where what I'm looking at the arrows and what I'm trying to hit versus what I actually hit when I do hit my spot is 3 boards different. If I'm looking at second arrow or the 10 board and I actually think I hit that, my ball's actually going over the 13 board. It's very, very odd. Your eye dominance matters a ton, kind of one of those weird small tricks in bowling. But Lane Tracks is helping you able to determine, are you actually hitting the spot that you think you are? Is your rev rate going up or down shot by shot? Is your ball speed going up shot by shot? And also, what is your ball speed off your hand? Bowling centers, while they do sometimes have speed checks, they're highly, highly inaccurate. Sometimes they're grabbing it right when the ball hits the pins, and that means that your spare shot, which isn't ever hooking, is going to always be 1 to 2 miles an hour faster than your strike shots, because the way a bowling ball hooks is it hits friction and it slows down. So Lane Tracks is able to track what is your ball speed off your hand. And this is a very important factor to know, because as you've seen on the channel, we actually have a full chart to show if you're speed dominant, rev dominant, or balanced. And this actually helps you determine which kind of bowler type you are. So let's fast forward then. That's what Lane Tracks is as an application. I'm a huge fan of Lane Tracks. I think it's really, really useful because unfortunately, Kegel Specto is one, very hard to find a bowling center that has it. It's very tough to find anywhere that has Specto. 2, Specto is insanely expensive for both someone trying to bowl on it or the bowling center trying to install it. It is a highly, highly expensive tool. Very useful, highly, highly expensive. Usually as a consumer, you're spending more money to bowl a game on a Specto lane compared to just a regular lane. So Lane Tracks is here to try to avoid that for you and try to help you just being able to get those stats if you're in an area without Specto or you don't want to spend all that money on Specto. So we fast forward, and one of the biggest things that Graham, the creator of the app, saw is that videos would be really nice to have when you're getting those shots. So if you see, hey, shot number 1, I had a 250 rev rate. I don't remember what I did on that shot because I'm using my phone to actually use Lane Track, so I can't actually get a video of myself. Well, now he's actually getting videos of your ball shot as you're throwing it. And that's a good way to determine, oh yeah, that was the shot I left a 10 pin. Oh, my ball speed was a little bit too low there. My revs were even lower. That's why I left a 10 pin. I need to focus on trying to be able to release it consistently and get that rev rate a little higher to kick that 10 pin out. And I'm somebody who am very much under the belief that getting videos of yourself doing any kind of sport activity is the best way to improve, because from our first person POV, we can't actually see what our body is doing. While it might feel like you're doing one thing, actually seeing clips of it might be radically different. So Lane Tracks is going to be a great way to help you start getting videos of yourself throwing so you know, wow, my elbow is going way around the ball. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's why things are being issues. It doesn't feel like it is, but when you get a video, it looks like it. So this is a great, great training tool that you can use to become a better bowler. Now, this awesome update is releasing on October 6th, on Monday, October 6th. I got early access to this. Huge shout out to Graham for giving me early access to this video beta just to see what it does and see how good it is. And I'm glad I can show this to you guys. Lane Tracks is $10 a month to use. The first 20 to 30 shots are free of charge. If you want to just see what the app is, you can download it for free from your app store of whatever kind. You can check it out, see what you think of it. But then if you want to get more features, if you want to be able to use it unlimited times, then it's $10 a month. Not too terrible of a price. It is a little bit higher compared to some other apps out there like a 10-pin toolkit, but this does a lot more for your physical game of bowling, where it's getting those videos, it's using AI to actually check all this stuff. So it's a pretty decent value, especially if you compare it to Kegel Specto. Then it's radically crazy. Let me know down below if you guys have any questions about lane tracks. I use this quite a bit when I practice, so please let me know if you have questions. One PSA I want to do, the rev rates are always a little bit iffy, so I wouldn't put too much truth towards that rev rate. If it says you have a 400 rev rate, you might be higher or lower. It's very hard to track rev rate on something like this. Using a more colorful ball generally helps as a quick little tip for you guys, but otherwise the rest of the stats are very accurate. But if you have other questions about it, please let me know down below in the comment section. I'd love to be able to answer those. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe. Let me know if you guys are going to get a subscription to Lane Tracks, by the way, too. I'm working with the owner a little bit, so I'd love to be able to tell him if there are some people picking it up or not. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. Bowling terminology of the day will be the 11 major bowling ball brands. There are currently 11 brands in the United States right now that everyone buys bowling balls from. These brands are split into 3 different companies. So each company has their bowling balls poured in the same location, and the balls are going to be very similar compared to the other companies. Company number 1 is Storm Products International, otherwise known as SPI. Same location in Mexico that are all under Brunswick Bowling, and those brands are Brunswick, Deviate, Radical. Then you have Ebonite, Hammer, Columbia 300, and Track Bowling. Those are all poured in the same location. Finally, the final company is just one brand, that is Motive Bowling. They are poured in Michigan, and they are just their own guys. So if you hear anybody talk about Brunswick bowling balls, Hammer bowling balls, anything like that, they are all basically the same on each company. They just have different logos on them. Same with Storm, and then Motive is, of course, just Motive over in their own corner. Bowling term of the day is board adjustment. So you'll sometimes hear people in bowling say, make a 2-in-1 move, make a 4-in-2 move. What does that mean? So when they mention something like that, they mean move 2 boards with your feet and 1 board with your eyes. Because generally the way you talk about bowling, where you stand and where you throw, you talk about where you start on the lane, the exact board that you start on the lane. We talked about that in a previous terminology video, but then also what you're looking at down lane. So that means they want you to move to the 12 board with your feet and the 6 board with your eyes. So when you do this, you can do a 2-in-1, 4-in-2, 6-in-3, and so on. A 2-in-1 break point down the lane, so your ball shape will be very similar. You'll just be playing a little bit deeper on the lane. Bowling term of the day is a symmetrical versus asymmetrical core in a bowling ball. So just like shapes in geometry, a symmetrical shape means you can fold it in half and it'll be the exact same on each side. Similarly, bowling cores are the same way. A symmetrical core is going to generally hook a little bit later and be a little rounder for what it does on the lane. It's going to have a different reaction than asymmetrical. Bowling balls have to be drilled in a certain way, of course, because they are asymmetrical, but they are generally going to hook earlier. Try to be a little bit sharper too down lane. You can expect a little more angle out of these bowling balls, but they generally want to hook a lot earlier. So make sure you know if your bowling ball is symmetrical versus asymmetrical, because that changes how it's going to react. Like on our Arsenal and weak categories. Now, of course, there's outliers, but that is what symmetrical versus asymmetrical means.
You're looking at downtown Wichita as seen from the Arkansas River, the first stop on the fall tour for the ladies professional bowlers. Hi, everybody. Today we go indoors to the North Rock Lanes in Wichita for this first exciting event. I'm John Neighbor. Along with me is our bowling expert, Leila Wagner. And not only is the BPAA US Open one of the more prestigious events on the tour, it's also perhaps the most demanding one.
It is, John. This event is a 56-game format. Our normal events are 42 games. This event takes 7 days instead of 5. It's very demanding taxing both physically and mentally on the players.
A true test of the athletes' deservedness to be in the final. We've already talked a little bit about the three relative veterans on the tour who are competing tonight, but let's talk about the relative newcomers, Marianne DeRupo, Carolyn Doran.
Well, Carolyn Doran, our fourth seed, John, has been on tour for 5 years, and by her own admission, she has not accomplished what she has wanted to do so far, but 94 has proven to be a banner year for her. She broke out, won her first singles title this year, and last night she proved herself a champion as she moved from 15th to 4th place. She averaged 239 and shot a whopping 278 in the position round.
Very exciting field because they're all bowling exceptionally well, but none as well as Anne-Marie Dugan has been this year. She's been the dominant force on the tour. In fact, she qualified in the top spot by 426 pins, almost a record. Is there anybody in this field who might be able to beat her in the championship match?
Well, there's a number of players. There are three others that we haven't talked about. Marianne DeRupo, who was the 1992 Rookie of the Year. She has won 2 titles in just 3 short years. Also, Alita Sill. She's a 20-time titleist, looking to put that final link in her Triple Crown. And Tish Johnson. She is the only other player who has won a U.S. Open title. Any one of them can beat Anne-Marie here tonight.
Well, Dugan will have to wait on the sidelines until that final match, but our first matchup features athletes in the numbers 5 and 4 spot. Tish Johnson, Carolyn Doran.
And so we have the handshake to start the first matchup. On the left, Carolyn Doran, a 30-year-old right-hander out of Richardson, Texas. On the right of your screen, Tish Johnson, 32 years of age. She's currently number 3 on the all-time career money list. She's going to start off on lane 31.
And you can see Tish take a big breath. This is a big event. Tish Johnson has not won a title, John, since the last U.S. Open title that she did win in '92.
And she starts it off nicely, getting a strike in the first.
Beautiful shot, just what she wants to do in the first frame, put a little pressure on Carolyn.
You mentioned earlier about Carolyn's remarkable final game in the position round, when she really needed the big points.
She did. She moved from 7th to 4th. She went around Wendy McPherson-Papanos.
Tammy Turner.
And Tammy Turner knocked them both out of the telecast. Carolyn Doran has a very simple game, but she does use all of the approaches. You can see here she takes 5 steps, gets the ball in motion on her second step. Relatively low backswing, but good knee bend. Something she's been working on in her game is to stay down at the line a little bit longer, get more leverage.
And she leaves the 7.
Looking for the wall shot, but the 7-pin remained.
When these two met in match play, Doran was victorious at that time. Good scores, 254. She was doing well in the final block.
I was going to say anyone that met Carolyn last night fell to her. She won 7 out of her 8 matches.
I don't think enough can be said about the experience that qualified for the finals here in this tournament.
And opens up with a double. But John, even though they have the experience, we have to look at things like Tish Johnson came to this tournament a week early. She said, I came Monday, and I really wanted to get sharp here at the center, get a feel for the bowling center, in which she did. She said she learned that she was going to have to play inside, and it made her sharper for the event.
And the last one falls. That's a turkey for Tish. 3 in a row. Doran now down by 20. 220 average is pretty good. It's about 5.5 pins higher than the tour's average so far this year.
Averaged on TV pair was 234, so Carolyn liked lanes 31 and 32.
Goes left of the head pin.
Got a little slow, also a little pressure there. You really want to get a strike, get something going. The time is running out when your opponent has just thrown 3 in a row. It's tough to get loose. This lady has accomplished so much, as we talked about in the opening this year, by winning. But she says, I'm always making changes in my game, and I'm always working on them.
And she picks up the spare in the third. Carolyn's going through some personal changes, too. She and her boyfriend are building a house. So you take a look at the score right now. Doran is down by 23.
You mentioned her boyfriend she's building a house with is professional bowler Del Ballard, and that's something that Carolyn was mentioning. She says, I did not take any time off the tour when the tour was on break. She says, I'm with Del, we're traveling, I'm constantly working on my game. I work with Billy Hall and Del all the time, and it keeps me motivated to continue to compete.
And she leaves the 4. Of course, Del Ballard's also been in this tournament. 87 and 93, the champion. He knows what it's like.
It's always harder, though, to sit back and watch. And Carolyn's sister Kathy is also in the audience, really pulling for Carolyn.
And so that's the third spare in a row for Carolyn Doran. We'll be back with more of this first of the championship finals. We'll return to Wichita, Kansas in just a moment. Tonight's telecast of the championship round finals of the BPAA US Open Championship is being brought to you by Quality Comfort Clarion and Sleep Hotels, and by the Crest Complete toothbrush. Crest Complete helps maintain a dentist clean. We're back now. Tish Johnson approaching the line. She's bowling in the 4th on a string of 3 strikes. Look at that, 32 perfect games in her career. She's heading for another one right now. Ooh, leaves the 2-4-7.
It appears she had a little problem with the approach. Something she mentioned to us last night, John, was the fact that synthetic approaches are not her favorite, and she usually has a little problem finding the right shoes, either stick or slip, and that time it appeared something happened.
But she picks up the spare in the 4th. So that puts her 21 pins up.
Tish's highest 1994 finish was 3rd in the Omaha Classic earlier in May.
And she's back in the striking mode.
If you feel held back by the weight of navigating financial decisions, we can give you the tools to help you break free from what's slowing you down. Credit Karma gives you personalized guidance to improve your credit, savings, taxes, and more. So you can find your way to money. Intuit Credit Karma, proud partner of Team USA.
Fighting through forms for new car insurance rates can take forever. You can count on Credit Karma to speed things up, because Credit Karma shows you personalized rates from top providers without the extra legwork, so you can get to the coverage you need ASAP. Download Intuit Credit Karma to get started. When you're looking to put your credit to use, your score is only part of the picture. You can count on Credit Karma to go beyond your number, because we analyze thousands of data points and go deeper into the factors credit card companies use, so you can know your approval odds before you apply. giving you more confidence in how lenders see you right now. Download Intuit Credit Karma to get started. When shopping for personal loans, bait and switch rates can be deceiving. You can count on Credit Karma to help you find more accurate rates, because Credit Karma uses your credit profile to show you real offers with clear terms without hurting your credit scores. No smoke, no mirrors, just personalized rates. Download Intuit Credit Karma to get started.
And Doran follows her last frame spare with a strike. We had a chance to speak with Carolyn about the impact of her sister Kathy's support from the sidelines.
There has not been one time that I have bowled and made a show that my sister, no matter how far I was out of a show, she looked at me from game 1 to game 24 and told me that I could make the show. And tonight she came up to me before I started bowling and she says, "Come on now, you can make the show, you can make the show." And I did. And I mean, it was, I can't believe it, because every time she said that to me, I mean, I have bowled so good. I mean, she never tells me I'm going to bowl bad. I mean, never. My sister never tells me I'm going to bowl bad. No matter how bad I'm bowling, she always comes down and tells me I can do something. And I did. And I thought that was really great. Maybe it brought me luck.
Well, Kathy might have brought her luck on that last frame. That's 2 spares in a row for Doran. Tish Johnson coming back on a spare, on a strike.
It's a good thing your sister never told you you're going to bowl bad. If she did, you might whop her one, right?
I bet Las Vegas is calling Kathy Doran and asking her to predict the outcome of this one. Oh, a near split, and it falls, so leaving the 6 behind.
And at the last minute, Tish was hoping that the 6 would fall. Another deep breath. She looks very serious. Something that as the games go on, if she does continue on, she'll start relaxing there. The ball hits smack on the head pin. 4-pin trips at the last minute. 6-pin still standing. She converts the spare nicely.
So Tish Johnson with an 11-pin lead in the 6th, working on a spare. Crosses over to 31.
2-time Bowler of the Year, both in 1990 and 1992.
Number 3 on the all-time money list, and that's he speaks well of a long record for Tish. And they all go down in the 7th. And so Tish Johnson will sit down and enjoy what seems to be a nice position with a few frames remaining. We'll be back with more of the BPAA US Open from Wichita, Kansas in just a moment. Playing the 7th on 2 strikes, trails by 11. And she finds them for a turkey.
Carrying the light wall shot again. She's got the pin action working for her on the light hits. A 3-time collegiate All-American. She was voted the most valuable player in 1989. Let's take a look at the light hit. She plays very direct right around the 12th board. She's been working on trying to get the ball into a roll early through the heads, through the front part of the lane, trying to get a lot of pin action, which she does. The ball pins bounce off the wall, carries them all. And she bowled with her sister Kathy at West Texas State for a couple of those years.
National titles for the school. Trying for 4 in a row. Doran and trails by 1.
With that strike right there, she took over the lead, John. She is now +9. You can see she's talking to it. Come on, baby, let's go. That was the frame in the 7th frame, and that next one was the 8th frame.
A lot of emotion being demonstrated there. Tish Johnson just released her 8th frame shot, leaving the 4-7.
Tish is definitely having problems on lane 32. She has been perfect so far on lane 31, but 32 has given her trouble. Now, one time she stuck, next time she went a little high, and again she went high. Pressure being put on by the opponent. You happen to squeeze the ball a little bit more, not get it clean off your hand.
That spare puts Johnson 9 pins back, with 2 frames remaining.
Tish Johnson was second in 1990 in the U.S. Open. She lost by just 1 pin to Dana Miller-Mackey, 190 to 189, but she came back 2 years later and won this event.
Seems like a lot of the women we talk to remember the history here at the U.S. Open.
She says, could I just stay on lane 31?
I thought she was ready to concede a split on that one.
I'll tell you something, John. She has to finish on lane 32, so that is not the lane she is going to wish that she had picked to finish on. Well, actually, Carolyn Doran had the choice because Carolyn qualified 4th.
Doran on a string of 4 in the 9th. And again, a big emotional outburst. I can't tell if Tish is almost in tears or not. Has the game run away from her this early?
Well, she had a great lead in the beginning, and things just turned around. Carolyn Doran throws 5 in a row out of nowhere, can shoot a possible 256. Tish Johnson can only shoot 237 at this point in time, but it's not over. If Carolyn Doran strikes here, she closes Tish Johnson out.
19-pin lead for the woman with the ball. The final frame on 31. And that's it.
What a shot. That had to be the best shot she threw the whole game. That's worth looking at again, as you can see here. Got that ball clean off her hand, something she's been working on. Get the ball into a nice roll, just sets perfectly into the pocket. 6-pin, slaps the 10 at the last minute, and there's no doubt about that shot. This lady is determined.
So with a strike in the 10th, she's taking 2 more balls. And leads the 7th.
Great round of applause. She spares there. She shoots 245. Again, Tish Johnson can only shoot 237, and it got away from her. Lane 32 just proved to give Tish a little too much problem.
So Carolyn Doran closes out the last frame with a spare. 245 her final score, and that's good enough to advance. She'll meet Alida Sill in the next match. Tish Johnson finishing up her 10th frame. And a baby split, 2-7.
And she ran her foot again on the approach. So 32 really seemed to be an approach problem more than anything.
And she finishes out the final frame of this match. For her, anyway, Tish Johnson takes the 5th place money, and we'll take a short break. When we return, Leila Wagner will have a chance to talk with Kurt Brose, the president of the BPAA. Welcome back to the first stop of the fall tour. The ladies professional bowlers were here for the Bowling Proprietors Association of America U.S. Open Championship. It's the 2nd match featuring Carolyn Doran with the purple ball. She'll start off on lane 31 against the 3rd seed Alida Sill, who's sitting down right now. Doran just won the first match, 245 to 216 over Tish Johnson. She goes from one left-hander to another.
That's right. And you may wonder why she walked over to get her ball off lane 30. She is able to practice while the other player practices on the championship pair. And Carolyn opens up match number 2 beautifully with a strike. Now, there's a little strategy involved here. Alida Sill had the option whether she wanted to start the match or finish the match. Carolyn Doran will have the pressure on her because she will have to finish the match. And also, Alida is going to finish on lane 31, so she might have the better lane for the left-hander.
So Alida Sill gets a strike to start it off. Coming up on ESPN later in the week, Michigan State versus Michigan. That'll be at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. That'll be tomorrow. Also watch Florida State as they take on Miami, 7:30 in the evening on ESPN. Alita Sill has won just about every tournament in the tour except this one. A lot of people think that she has as much desire as anybody on the tour right now, and she's bowling 2 strikes in a row. Certainly heading in the right direction.
Well, she has had 2 very disappointing second-place losses in the U.S. Open, where she was the top seed both times.
Some women like to come in the middle of the ladder instead of just sitting on top and bowling cold in the last match. What do you think about that? Is there an advantage to just bowling 1 match?
There's always an advantage for the players that are coming up.
So this might be a lucky year for Alita Sill. And that's an unlucky ball for Carolyn Dorn. She drops 9 pins and she leaves the number 2.
Going back to that thought, John, that's why the top seeds really have not done as well in the past in such tournaments as majors, because the pressure having to come on and perform, I believe that's only been won by a top seed 3 years out of 14. So that's not a very good percentage. It's always an advantage to a player bowling 1 or 2 games. They're comfortable, they know the lane condition, and they also have a chance to get a little loose.
Alita's spare in the second, or excuse me, Carolyn Dorn's spare in the second, drops her 10 pins back. Four perfect games for Dorn in her career.
Reaching your financial goals can feel impossible. But we can help you seize them. Credit Karma gives you personalized guidance to improve your credit, savings, taxes, and more, so you can find your way to money. Intuit Credit Karma, proud partner of Team USA. If you feel held back by the weight of navigating financial decisions, we could give you the tools to help you break free from what's slowing you down. Credit Karma gives you personalized guidance to improve your credit, savings, taxes, and more, so you can find your way to money. Intuit Credit Karma, proud partner of Team USA.
When shopping for personal loans, bait and switch rates can be deceiving. You can count on Credit Karma to help you find more accurate rates, because Credit Karma uses your credit profile to show you real offers with clear terms without hurting your credit scores. No smoke, no mirrors, just personalized rates. Download Intuit Credit Karma to get started.
If you feel held back by the weight of navigating financial decisions, we could give you the tools to help you break free from what's slowing you down. Credit Karma gives you personalized guidance to improve your credit, savings, taxes, and more, so you can find your way to money. Intuit Credit Karma, proud partner of Team USA.
Alita Sill now trying to make it 3 in a row.
Alita Sill has really been on a comeback year here in 1994. She's finished second 4 times. As I mentioned in the opening, she won earlier in the year, and she won 2 regionals in August, and she has really been working on her confidence.
Ooh, she leaves the 7.
It's amazing a player like this who has had so much success in the past has to try to find confidence, but she went through a big slump between 88 and 92. She thought, maybe I already peaked and I don't have it anymore. So in the last couple of years, she has really come back out and shown that she is a tough competitor.
And she picks up the spare in the 3rd. We talked with Alita earlier and asked her to discuss her feelings surrounding the fact that this title has eluded her so often in the past.
Good and bad. At least I got to the show again. I would like to win it because then that'll make my career complete. If I don't win it, if I never win it, well, I still had a good career, but it's such a prestigious title, I would just love to win it.
In fact, I've heard many say that Lita Sill is almost impenetrable on the board. They can't read her motions, but certainly she wants this one emotionally. Ice Woman.
Well, that's right. You can't tell if she's bowling good or bad at any point of time. And get on to our next player, Marianne Tarupo uses her actually as a inspiration.
Doran comes back to make it 2 in a row in the fourth. And that puts her a pin up in this match.
Carolyn, on the other hand, you can definitely tell if she's bowling good or bad, especially good. When you work so hard for something, and she has in the past year especially, just put in so much time and effort in improving herself, and she says, you know, I'm just never satisfied. I think a win here tonight, she would have to become satisfied.
And the big hop out of Doran at the foul line. 3 in a row for her, and that solidifies her lead, increasing it to 11 pins.
She is really pumped. She is tripping the fours. She is carrying the light hits, and she is talking to the pins.
For some people it works. For some it doesn't. It's working for Carolyn right now. Alita Sill bowling on a strike in the fourth. Here in the fifth frame.
And answers back with a beautiful strike on lane 32. Two-time bowler of the year in 84 and 85. Really dominated tour in the early 80s. Major rivalry there in the 80s. Lisa Wagner and Alita Sill. They were always seemed to be 1 and 2. And then Lisa Wagner took off in the late 80s and became bowler of the decade. Both of them neck and neck for career earnings. Alita Sill is ranked first.
Just short of $600,000 earned by Alita Sill in her bowling career. And that makes it 3 in a row for Sill. And already this match, the victory, the score here will push her over $600,000. Alita Sill continues her great success. 3 in a row. We'll be back with more bowling. Carolyn Doran right now, 9 pins back. Welcome back to the BPAA US Open Bowling Championship in Wichita right now. Carolyn Doran bowling in the 6th frame. She's got a string of 3 strikes going. She trails by 9 pins.
Again, beautiful shot. What a match we have here. Back and forth, back and forth. Carolyn Doran playing a very tight line right around the 12th board. Just a baby swing, what we talk about. Right in the track area, not giving it too much room, getting the ball off in her hand. Nice roll.
And that strike put her 1 pin up in the possible score at the end of this match.
Carolyn said she had a bit of a problem with the surface of the ball. She liked the roll she was getting while she was competing, but she was not happy with her carry early on in this tournament. She said, I just started changing the surface a little bit in the morning block. I sanded the ball. I needed more surface, and in the later blocks, I shined it up a little bit more. Other than that, I stayed with the same type of drilling pattern.
Looks like the 2 bounced around the 4, taking out the 7, but unfortunately that stops her string at 4.
If I could read lips, I could tell you exactly what happened there because she just told everybody. Switches balls to convert the spare.
So now with that spare in the 7th, Doran drops back to even with Sill. Sill working now on a string of 3 strikes.
Sill has been combating some major injuries. They're starting to return. Tendonitis in the arm. Also talked about a rib slipping in her chest. She's just been picture perfect here on lane 32. Tish Johnson would have liked to have had these strikes on 32 along with the one she threw on 31. Just beautiful. 10 in the pit. Look at bowler track. She is throwing the ball 18 miles an hour. She's right around the 11th board early on lane. Little swing out to the 8th and 9th board.
And so with the strike in the 7th, still with a 10-pin lead, trying to extend that. She gets another strike. Continuing to add the pressure. Alita still certainly doesn't show any effects of the sore muscles that she had earlier this week. Visited a chiropractor to get some adjustments and some help. Now to Carolyn Doran.
Carolyn's main goal tonight, just keep her tempo up. She says, I just want to bowl well. So far, she has bowled very well. Continues to throw strikes on lane 32. She's going to look back on that shot in the 7th frame and say, I may have let that one get away from me. This one, again, right in the track area. 12th board, doesn't get away from her. The difference between that one and the last shot, well, we'll take a look at that shot. She throws the ball about 17 miles an hour, a little bit slower than Alita. Playing again right around 11.5 board. Out to the 9, back to the 11. Just 2-board swing. See her index finger spread very wide around the ball, trying to get the ball rolling off her hand early. She said, that's the shot I was looking for in the 7th frame.
And there's the smile her sister enjoys seeing so much. You can see as her fiance and sister are watching this important ball hit the pins. Yes. Now Alita Sill trying to make it 6 in a row in the 9th.
This lady can throw big games as well. She has 19 300 games. Her U.S. Open high game was 278 right now. She's going at a 279 pace with 3 strikes in the 10th. She can close out Carolyn Doran, even though Carolyn Doran can shoot 259. We have a very high-scoring tournament, but we have a match, and that's what's the key.
In fact, Alita Sill was the last woman bowler to be a part of a perfect game on television when she did that with a partner, Lori Soto. Alita Sill not going to get a perfect game here, but just as close as you can be without getting a perfect 300.
The tables were turned on Carolyn Doran as Alita strike. With that strike there, one more strike and she closes her out.
And that's the first piece of emotion we've seen out of Alita Sill so far in this match. She's right back into her game face.
And our scoreboard shows us she only needed 5 pins on that shot. She had racked it up. You could tell with the smile on her face. Carolyn Doran has done what she wanted to do. She wanted to bowl well.
It's probably easy to say that the night before the competition. I just want to bowl well. But somehow when you get into the finals, you also want to advance.
Oh, you bet.
Messengers come across, giving a perfect final frame, and that glorious 279 score for Alita Sill, more than enough to advance to the next match. Carolyn Doran, with 2 strikes working for her, now in the final frame. She finishes with $5,000 in her bank account.
And look at this.
Great bowling.
Great, just one shot. And actually, the shot in the 7th frame, she probably got a little bit fast, sent the ball out a little bit right, didn't get it off her hand clean enough, and never made it back to the pocket.
They call her Spike, a name that she earned from the way she combs the bangs on her hair. Spike rhymes with strike, and she has 3 in a row. Make that 4. Remarkable scores. Unfortunately, she ran into a buzzsaw on Alita Sill. And we're here at 2:59, which is a very high-scoring game and a rough break to lose on such a great match. Great high-scoring week. And she leaves one on the final ball. You're looking at the next two athletes. We'll see on the hardwood, Carolyn Doran sitting down. Excuse me, Marianne DeRupo sitting down, and it's Alita Sill, who's just advanced from the 3 spot. Meeting number 2, Marianne DeRupo.
And we have just found out that that 279 that Alita Sill just shot, John, is the highest game in U.S. Open history on television. Prior to that, it was 265 by Wendy McPherson-Papanos. And Alita just picks up right where she left off with another strike here in the first frame.
DeRupo, 27 years of age, out of Susquehanna, New Jersey. They call her Droopy, or Drip. Marianne is a very emotional bowler. Played semi-pro softball out of college, where she had a scholarship at the University of South Carolina. Hit the softball, and with a lot of action, gets the pins to fall. Strike in the first.
Opens up with a light hit. You mentioned a lot of emotion. This lady's been working on that one particular thing. Her roommate, Alita Sill, and can you believe it? They're bowling head-to-head here to try to get to the title match for this championship. She says, I admire Alita. I try to emulate her in the way that she shows no emotion, whether she is bowling good or bad. And Marianne has really been working on keeping her emotions intact.
So she leaves at 3-6-9-10. It's got to be somewhat of an inner conflict for DeRupo, trying to tone down that emotion.
Really been working on getting early roll, too, but got inside of target. The ball just took off left a little bit early. Did not give it enough room. Not an easy spare to convert. She has the 9-pin sitting behind the 3-pin.
And she bags him.
And a slight smile. She knew that that wasn't that easy to pick up, especially under pressure.
We were talking to DeRupo, and she says in softball, you want to express your emotion to sort of encourage the rest of the team, but in bowling, you want to tone it down, and she's trying to withdraw right now.
That's right. She attended the University of South Carolina on a softball scholarship.
Sill goes 2 in a row to take the lead in the second frame.
And Alita Sill has just thrown 11 strikes in a row. And Andy Verapapa, 300 if she throws another one right now. That's any 12 strikes.
Anywhere. In succession.
In succession.
Yeah, I can throw 12 strikes. It's going to be 48 chances.
Succession was the key word there, John. And she crosses over. Doesn't matter. All looks the same on paper at this point in time. She has the lead by 20 pins. Marianne's best U.S. Open finish came last year. She finished 21st. This is only her second U.S. Open ever.
Pins dance around the 4.
Ball coming in just a little high, but that really could have carried. Marianne made some real changes in her game recently. You can see there she's way up on the approach. She's gone from a 5-step to a 4-step. Watch here, she drops the ball right in her first step. You've got to do that on a 4-step approach. Again, very high backswing, really rips the ball, and she actually ends up pretty far from the line. Take very, very short steps.
We talked to Marianne DeRupo a little earlier and asked her what it might mean to her to win this most illustrious tournament.
It's so hard to put into words. With the elite group that I'm bowling against, just looking at the total amount of titles that they have combined is something within itself. To win a tournament like this would be probably my #1 memory in all the sports that I've ever had. I played professional softball for quite a period of time. I played softball in college, and to win an elite as an individual, to win an elite tournament would be something very special to me.
Well, she's not heading in the right direction here in the 4th.
Again, the ball coming up high. She tripped out the 10, but did not get the 6. Marianne throws the ball almost 18 miles an hour. She's playing very deep. She's playing in around the 17th board. Switches balls to shoot at the spare.
So DeRupo sits down, and Sill now enjoying a 22-pin lead, working on 3 consecutive, now in the 4th.
This is where the advantage of even having a game on the lanes prior to this is taking a play. Here, Lita Sill's very comfortable with the lanes. Marianne's been sitting off a while. Ooh,
They dance around the 7.
Something Marianne has never had to do. In the 2 titles she won, she came from the first match. She built up the momentum. She said last night when she was talking to us, you know, I've never had to just bowl and go off and sit and wait and come back on. I know the lanes are going to change a little bit, and I know it's going to be a different story. And she's having a little trouble.
Picking up the spare in the 4th. Her lead now 21 pins.
Raised eyebrows there. Look up at the sky. She says, that ball did not quite slide as far as I thought it was going to do. Started to hook a little bit earlier. Thank you, Lord.
Yes, an open frame right about now would not be helpful. 12 strikes in a row, though, for Sill as she sees that string come to a close in the 4th. Now in the 5th, he's back on it.
Marianne's 1994 television record is 7-1. Very, very high. She's averaged 217 tonight.
2 pro titles in her career.
Average on the TV pairs been 220. Average this week was 224.
Misses the head pin and leaves a bunch. Wash out with the 2 and 8.
Marianne's going to try to hit on the left side of the head pin, throw it into the 10. The ball then takes out the 2 and the 8.
Beautifully played.
She must have watched my drawing, John. What do you think?
Like she's got nothing else to worry about. Well, I tell you, for a newcomer going up against a veteran, she certainly does know how to play it right and keep her head in the game.
I didn't even have to draw it that time. That head pin just took out the 10 perfectly.
How cooperative.
How many times you throw that head pin around the 10 pin, though? Really upsets you. You get very close. Beautiful conversion there. A big sigh of relief as the shoulders had gone down.
4 spares in a row for DeRupo.
Gave that ball the room that it needed.
And so with the strike in the 6th, DeRupo now is only 25 pins back. Alita Sill comes to lane 32 when we return for more of the U.S. Open right here. Alita Sill now back on the hardwood in the 6th frame. She leads by 25 pins, working on a strike. She struck in 4 of the last 5 frames. Bowled 11 strikes in the last game. Ooh.
Sent the 4-pin right around the 7. Lita said she had been laying off a lot of the summer, did not get a lot of practice in. She was trying to give her arm time to relax. Let's take a look at this last shot. Ball coming in. Looks beautiful into the pocket, but watch the 4-pin just wraps right around the 7. She said then what I did is I just came back. I laid off, and I came back right into the regional tournaments and did not give any time for the rehabilitation process in my arm. And in turn, she re-injured it. So she is using a band there to keep the tendons tight.
I'm surprised there's not more career-threatening congenital problems that come along with this sport. They're working so hard. 56 games in a tournament that lasts a week long. Strike for Sill in the 7th. The spare she earned in the 6th. She's enjoying the 25-pin lead right now.
Watch this ball as it comes in pretty high, but she ends up tripping out the 6 and the 8. Head pin off the wall, takes the 6, and the 8 falls down as well. She says, yes, I can carry the high hits as well as the pocket. 15 minutes.
And there's the 2nd strike in a row for Marianne DeRupo.
Weight Watchers now offers access to affordable GLP-1s.
Weight Watchers has everything I need, from weight loss medications to nutrition support and help with my side effects.
With our program, our members are losing more weight with expert nutrition and side effect support.
Weight Watchers prescribing GLP-1 medications. It's been life-changing.
Better results. Expert support. Lose more weight. Make it last. Get started for as low as $25 at WeightWatchers.com/TV. Weight Watchers now offers access to affordable GLP-1s.
Weight Watchers has everything I need, from weight loss medications to nutrition support and help with my side effects.
With our program, our members are losing more weight with expert nutrition and side effect support.
Weight Watchers prescribing GLP-1 medications. It's been life-changing.
Better results. Expert support. Lose more weight. Make it last. Get started for as low as $25 at WeightWatchers.com/TV.
If you don't want it, Anne-Marie, I'm going to take it away. And Anne-Marie definitely wants it, and sometimes that's what the problem is.
Lita Sill, 32 years old, left-hander out of Dearborn, Michigan. 20 national titles, but none as tasty as this one right now.
And she almost left the 7-9 on a pocket hit. You can see there she's mouthing, I made a good shot. She's trying to stay positive.
A lot of confusion out there.
A lot at stake right now. You can tell the tempo is different, too. The pace is different than the players. The atmosphere has changed a lot from the first couple matches.
Dugan back into a striking form here in the 7th after 2 open frames. He's 26 pins trailing, 27.
Taking a re-rack. Anne-Marie says, I know I made a good shot. I take a look at bowler track. Anne-Marie Dugan throws the ball around 17.5 miles an hour. She's playing very deep, 19th board, which is the 4th arrow, out to about the 11th board at 45 feet, and then the ball is coming back. Again, the pocket sits around the 17th board, so it's making a long way back. Needs this one. The ball hooked a little too early.
310 left behind. Maybe split as she just exhales her frustration.
Anne-Marie practices roughly 15 to 20 games a day. So it says I never get away from it either. She did take some vacation time. Her and her husband, Pat, and her 2 stepchildren took their motorhome, went up through Montana, and had a little time to relax, but then she got right back into business as she came here at the US Open.
Working on a spare in the 8th frame. Lita Sill leads by 38 pins. And she gets them all here. Those will be valuable pins for her.
Lita Sill was the 1993 leading money winner on the tour. She won 3 titles. She won the LPBT doubles event. She won the team event and the Merit mixed doubles event. Not one of them was a singles title. She says, someone asked her, do you always need a little help now to, win these other events? But 94, she proved them wrong. She came back to win her 20th title in the summer, won 2 regionals, as I mentioned, in August. She is on her way to win the 1994 US Open title. I'm going to take a look at the pin action here. Light hit. Ball hits the 6 pin, hits the 5, takes out the 10.
And here, starting off the 10, she gets another strike. And that looks like it'll just about put it on ice.
Very, very frustrated after leading an event by over 400 pins. You can tell she's really upset with her release, how she's been, what exactly she was doing to the ball.
The highest she can score is 193. She takes it off the sheet. And she won't do it here in the 10th. Leaves 1 on the first ball. And that loses it for her. The best she can do now is 173, and it won't be enough.
Well, she goes to well over $99,000 for the year. She'll be breaking that record, I'm sure, within the next 6 events somewhere along the line. She'll be bouncing back.
Small consolation, $9,000 for the runner-up finish. Anne-Marie Dugan will have plenty of chance to earn more money in the future. I wonder if Lita Sill even knows she's won her title.
Oh, I bet she does. That's a small consolation to you, John, $9,000. I think it's a pretty good paycheck,
It would be a pretty good paycheck for me as well. 7 pins for the final ball for Dugan. And so it's 170, the final total. And now it's just a matter of formalities as Alida Sill will win her first U.S. Open title. And for her, a strike in the 10th. Icing on the cake. The Triple Crown finally complete for this one of the greatest all-time bowlers, certainly a Hall of Famer in the future. And adding to her career money totals, she'll go up to about $620,000 in her career. Eight. And so Alida Sill has the victory, though she doesn't close out that frame. She wins it here in Wichita, Kansas. We'll be back with more in words with this now Triple Crown champion. Tonight's telecast of the championship round finals of the BPAA US Open Championship has been brought to you by the Century 21 system. When you want the best, discover the power of number one. And I'm standing right next to the U.S. Open champion, Alida Sill. Congratulations, a title long overdue. As Bill Blue puts on the winner's jacket, let me ask you, does this bring a sense of completion or closure to your career?
Well, I think it brings a sense of completion. This has just made my career complete. I've wanted this for a long time. I didn't even think I could win it. I've finished second a couple times, and it's been all worth it.
Well, certainly it's worth it, and along with the title and the jacket comes a little paycheck. Here, Kurt Brose, would you present the honors?
Be happy to. On behalf of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, a great champion, great performance. First of all, here's your eagle, very representative of the flying performance, 7-12 for 3 games, and also the most important, the check for $18,000. Congratulations.
Quite an accomplishment and certainly well worthy of the awards. John Crum, the owner here, will present a little nice token of his appreciation.
I get the check back and then I give her this, right? That's a good substitute. We've had a great time this week. We really enjoyed you ladies. We've both had some great bowling out of all of you, and congratulations on your great win.
Thank you very much.
Struggling with GLP-1 side effects? The all-new Weight Watchers GLP-1 Success Program is designed to help you lose more weight and get expert support for side effects. Healthy weight loss, expert support, and lasting results. Get started at weightwatchers.com/GLP-1. The new Wegovy pill is now available through Weight Watchers. Finally, powerful GLP-1 results in a simple pill at the lowest price available. Get doctor support, personalized nutrition programs, and side effect management, all in one place.
I can't imagine being on a GLP-1 without Weight Watchers.
And Weight Watchers handles the insurance for you and offers affordable cash pay options. See if you qualify for the Wegovy pill at weightwatchers.com/TV.